We're live. How is everyone tonight? I see Frankenstein C20 NSB custom cars. My Aunt Nancy's here. Can't see anybody else just yet. I'm having to use my phone. That's what's up with the weird display and kind of looking, off to the side a little bit. Finger Tight Jones is in the house. Yeah, I came in from a pretty big project. I went to raise that window and disconnected my computer, so it's having to come back up. So we'll restore it here in a little bit. Ryan Bar's Nest, Mohawk 62, Bruce Colgin. I think I have that right. Do I? Do I have that right? He says yellow is a mellow yellow. Engine Light Garage. NSB guys, followed by Turbo Tom. Mama M Cubed. Colleen Tebow says hello, everyone. Indirect Connection, New Guys Guitar Tom. I'll tell folks as they come in, this is not a new arrangement on purpose. This is my backup for when I trip over my computer cord trying to put a window up. Andrew Nelson says, good evening from Team Nivlac 57. How's it going, Andrew? Good to see you here tonight. Andrew, I blew up an engine yesterday. Not as exciting as it might sound, though. Unfinished project is here. New Guys Guitars says it looks nice. Well, actually, it's a pretty clear camera. It's an iPhone 15. It ought to be. That phone costs more than most cars I've had. Andrew Nelson says, no, actually, it's not a big deal. Had a 18 horse Briggs and a riding mower, had a really bad rod knock at the end of last season. It was very nice. It let me finish mowing, but that rod knock was bad. And so I fired it up yesterday and through the block it went. Yeah, poor engine is right. Man, I have mowed, gosh, out of 20 seasons of that mower. And it's got more mowing to do, but need to do something better for an engine. Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans is here. My mom is here. Levi's here. I'm a believer in the $500 cars. My newest one was $600. I mean, I remember when $500 got you a lot of car, Levi. Now, literally $500 are what some of them bring on the scales. J-Bo is here. What's going on, Mr. J-Bo? Good to see you. Justin Hill from Idaho. Yeah, if nothing else, this gives you a different perspective. Have to look at the crack on my screen protector the entire live. Well, at least for a few minutes. Yeah, this whole Stone Age computer thing is coming to a head real soon, though, because I've read that Windows 10 is going away. Support has already ended. So I'm pretty sure that next season I will have different hardware. Camera's more crisp. Well, that's because I'm using my phone. And the Brio is good. I could put it on a higher setting, but it's my computer that won't do it. The hardware won't run it. The phone will. It's funny. I remember when iPhones came out, they had really good cameras, like better than any phone. And when you go photograph listings for clients, you couldn't let them see you do that because they would insist the listing that you can't use a phone. They thought that was the worst thing in the world. If they didn't see you do it, they were fine. They said, oh, those are great. Those photos look great. They didn't know you took them with your phone. But if they saw it, no. Engine Light Garage uses an old phone as a webcam. Yeah, you can totally do that. Dust Devil Garage is here. Ryan Bar's Nest claims the Coronet is ready except for seat belts and front wheel studs. So that's a short list. Andrew Nelson says, I made it through college on $50 cars. Yep, actually, I paid $50 for the Hyundai Excel that I drove in college. Sure did. At 184,000 miles, that engine, not believe how much oil that thing was using. No power at all. If you were on a steep enough hill, foot to the floor, it wouldn't move. And then I built my first engine and put in that. And that engine still runs. If I miss your comment, it's because the phone only shows 3 or 4 at a time. And I'm afraid to monkey with that screen because everything's a touch screen will go away. 2Hacks Jeff is here. What's going on, sir? 2Hacks Jeff is making killer progress on that dragster. I mean, he is really getting it moving. The top fuel teams would be proud of how quickly he has worked. Engine Light says make sure you have it set for live chat and not top comments. Agreed. Levi, no, I tripped over the cord. I was putting up a window here in the office and tripped over a cord. Well, putting up the window is twofold. Number one, it's hot. And number two, the neighbors are moving this huge camper. And, you know, if they high center it or something great happens out there, don't want to miss it. Maybe I can flip the camera and show it to you live. I know one time they got stuck trying to get it out of the driveway. They got a different vehicle and didn't realize that the hitch was a completely different height. So they come out of the driveway and hit the angle. And I don't know if their vehicle just stopped because it picked the hitch picked the back end of the car up. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I came rolling in. I saw that, and fortunately, I have impact. I could fix their adjustable hitch and all that, and that got them out of there. But I never saw them tow with that vehicle again, so it probably didn't work as good as they were hoping. SSR performance 83 days. Actually, it's 82 days. 82 days and 3 hours and change. And Nancy Cook says Williamson Road cruising tonight. We're in the middle of it. So I thought they canceled that. Is that just people doing it anyway? Because it became a disaster. It became all the hoodlum crowd and the takeover crowd and all that came in and ruined it. So I guess the city doesn't sanction it anymore, but I kind of figured they'd do something like that anyway. It's today where it's lawless and there's so many of them the police can't do anything about it. SSR says TikTok, everyone, I'm ready. Well, James, it's like this. The people who can get it done in 9 months can generally get it done in 9 weeks. The folks who can't get it done in 9 months probably couldn't do it in 9 years. That big Mike that sneaked in there. Unfinished Project says actually there's only 12 Saturdays until the No Name Nationals. Sounds about right. Big Bad Jones says another trip to Tulsa. Cool. I've never been to Tulsa. How is it? Engine Light Garage says I'm not ready at all. Engine Light Garage, you don't have your 500 subs yet, but you can totally do it. And that's an interesting point. This Sunday at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, whichever you're on, or adjust for other time zones as needed. We're going to be having a content creator workshop with special guest Lars, LP94. And we're going to be talking about the shorts campaign because it's still going to be going on through the 4th of July. We're going to give an update on how it's going, how people have done with it, and all those other topics that are going to be helpful, especially to you No Name 500 guys. And check this out. Not talking about causation, but there's a strong correlation between the people who show up at those workshops and the people who get their 500 subs. Mean Street Mopar, what's going on, Mean Street, sir? Old McDonald has a car. There's 11 more lives with John Wilbur before the No Name Nationals. There'll be a few more than that because we're going to have a couple of content creator workshops and we're going to have lives when the No Name 500 guys reach 500. So when they get up around 475 or so, we get them live so that we can watch them crest 500 together. The little 500 party with everyone that we can practically do. We can't always do that, but we do it every time we can. Big Mike, how close are you to ready? I remember last year you had a day 90 countdown. Buick Smith says, I'm almost at 100. Buick Smith, you can do it, but you got to really turn it up. I mean, you got to really turn it up. You got to be putting in every day. Jason's Garage says 500 parties are the best parties. They're fun. They're fun. And Jason's Garage wanted specifically to be part of Don English's No Name 500 party. And so we made sure to make that happen. And that was a blast. I was really happy for Don. Jason was too. And yeah. Big Mike says, I'm closer than I was last year at this time. Yeah, well, see, Big Mike is one of those people that we're talking about. And we say the people who can make it 9 months could probably make it 9 weeks. And the people who can't make it 9 months probably couldn't make it 9 years. And that's just the way it is. It's the nature of doing this. But I will say this for sure. This community, we all come together to No Name Nationals, but the community in general does encourage one another. We do. And I have seen projects get restarted, started from scratch, and come along that wouldn't have because there are other people doing it with them in the No Name Nationals community. Indirect Connection says 44 subs to go. Man, you're close. You're close. Jason's Garage says Don was my first sub. Well, that is cool. I don't know what sub of Don's I was, but man, it was. I bet you, Jason. I bet you and I were one of Don's first 20 subs or so, if I had to guess. Buick Smith says I've been putting out at least one every day. Absolutely. And SSR mentioned how's the shorts campaign. I don't have numbers right now handy. I would have them on my phone. But I've gotten over 100 subscribers from it just because I've been doing it with you guys. I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I'm not able to do or willing to do. So if I'm saying you should put out one short every day, then you know what? I'm going to put out a short every day. And I have. And there's been some times like, oh man, I got to squeeze getting a short filmed and put out today, but I always do. And I did one today on, of all things, a smudge pot. And I'm working on one that's going to take several days. It'll be next week. So you have to see what that is. It's going to take, you'll see why it took several days to film. Old McDonald says it's always better doing something with someone else. Well, you know, it does help because there's a lot of guys who you know have these projects that were one of these days, and there's a reason why we have this number back here, and that is because one of these days is not on any calendar I have ever had. Calendars have 365 opportunities to set goals. They don't have a one of these days, and so when everybody says, "Hey, we have this many days on a big orange sign," they tend to say, you know what, I've got to do it. And they do it. And if you fall a little short of your goal, man, you're way closer than, say, 15 years of never having started on the goal. So I think it's worthwhile. I know that we've seen cars we would not have seen if it weren't for the encouragement of the community getting behind some of these guys. And I think it's great. I love it. Absolutely love it. And you guys that are posting every day, you're going to make it. Every day is what wins it. If there's an orange paper shortage, what's plan B? Well, Levi, I'm way ahead of you. I have the color code on this paper. I could have this paper custom made if needed. It is an obscure paper. Because, see, the first dream of this paper I found in the attic of the old Rains real estate building, and I have no idea how old it was. It was sitting in the eave of an attic, and no one had even remembered it was there. I don't know what it was, probably for printing flyers on. And so I used it. At the time I found it, which was probably would have been 2017. I found it, no telling how old it was then, had an inch of dust on it. And nobody knew why it was there or what it was or anything. Okay, I don't know what I ever use it on, but then we had this in this calendar. I said, gosh, I got a whole ream of that. I think that would work great. And it does. And so once I ran out of that, because one of those reams lasts me about 2 years. So I said, man, I'm glad I kept the numbers on that. So Mater is asking Blue Grit, did you figure out how to schedule shorts from your phone? I will say that I got the best results so far this year with one I scheduled to drop at 6 a.m. And it was the one having glass repair done. But in general, the ones where I've had an edited short, I used a full minute and I edited down. Those have done really well. Um, the ones I've just shot from my phone have not done as well, but I've had a lot of those do really well too. And there's a lot less time involved. So one you do from your phone, let's just say it's 10 to 1. I think the number's even bigger than that. If you can do 10 of them from your phone and put it out, your odds of getting subscribers and such are good, but they're probably better just because of the sheer volume you can put out. Buff says I'm late, was doing the short. SSR, what is the full name of your channel? Can't find you. Buick Smith. Do a search because it's a recent rebranding. Do a search of the James and James Show, and I bet it'll come up. BNR Racing's in the house. Travis's Mopar Garage. What's going on, Travis? How are your plans shaping up for the third annual No Name Nationals? You've been slightly under the radar. Mohawk says, I can honestly say if it wasn't for this community, I would never have seen a supercharged 2.8. Well, that probably makes all of us. Travis says, I'm ready. Right on. Sounds good. I wish I could say the same. I got a lot to do. A lot to do. This is that part of the season when it's just, yeah, you grit your teeth because of the amount of checks you got to write. SSR said Lars beat me. Lars is quick. I'm telling you what. Blue Grit says I lost about 6 videos from the phone, and the one I got posted did not have audio. Oh man, that's a bummer. It happens, but you know, it happens. You can rally. Travis says he's been working 80 to 90 hours a week right now. Oh man, that's a heavy load. Take care of your health, man. Big Bad Jones, I'm about seasick with my wife driving. My aunt, who I'm sure would never watch this live stream, she not the cool aunt who's in here, but my other aunt, she drives like that. You'll be seasick. You can't ride with her. She could turn 100 miles into 102 just from sawing on the steering wheel. Big Mike's asking Travis, does Old Red have fender wells in? KJ Kylie's here. Travis says not yet. Matt Travers is here. Another great Friday night with John W. Well, what makes it great is all of you guys. This is the fun part of my week right here. If I wasn't afraid of disturbing the setup that I have right here, I'd spin it around and show you this blue screen nonsense. But yeah, we'll get it up here shortly. It'll work. I was thinking about Mohawk here with his have to take the suspension loose to get the rear tires off the car. I was cutting up some wide tires. Though, man, these tires are huge and they're still narrower than what Mohawk runs on the back of his Scamp. Big Mike says, going to be a fun day tomorrow. I have a sickness. "38 POS Racing says, since the orange paper is under 100, I'm finally working on my no name project. Jason, I bet you this one right here make your old computer look like a champ. No, I will upgrade. I am planning on it. I'm actually starting to look around. My computer guy, which is my buddy that I went to school with at Virginia Tech, he's a computer nerd and he knows all this stuff, and so he's trying to help me figure out what I need. And I'm going to go back to a regular Dell laptop like I used for a long time. But what I'm going to do, I think, is run a solid state drive and then run a traditional drive for the backup because I can get a lot more capacity cheaper running a regular drive, and then use a solid state to boot off of and everything. And that's going to be the hot ticket. And I may go back to a 17 inch. This is a 13 or 14 here. It's a tad small. I had a 17-inch laptop I thought was really nice, and I think I'm going to go back to that. Anyway, just trying to figure those things out. The place to find them, if you know what you're looking for, which I don't, but he does, so he can help me, is the Virginia Tech surplus auction. I just missed two stainless steel laboratory tables over there. I could kick myself. Missed them by one day because they would have been perfect for doing build tables, like for doing transmissions. And that is a purchase I want to make in the very short term. So when I see one or two more of those show up over there in surplus, I will own them. In fact, that's part of what my reorganization by my shop is I want to have a build area. Twisted Mopar Garage Dennis is here. Pawn shops, looking pawn shops. Yeah, I will say the only pawn shop we have here has horrible retail prices. Um, and that's Danny's down there on Roanoke Street. I don't mind saying that. I've just not had good experience with them at all. So if you're watching Danny's, fix it. I'm guessing that they make their money on doing loans for people who can't get loans other places. That's my guess because I do not know how they could possibly do it on selling stuff. Jabo says Blake and Annie took me to the inaugural Iowa Corn 350 on Father's Day. Well, that's cool. I asked Blake if he was in the stands. Jason says pawn shops are out of control here also. Yeah, it's terrible. Hot Rod Guy Garage says 82 days in a few hours. That is correct. Just build your own, more fun. I could, but I will say these stainless tables with really nice uh, break edges on them and everything. We're talking $95. I mean, I don't even know if I could build it for that. It's a really nice table. So if I can find one or two of those, have to make a few mods for it, to make them work right. But yeah. I really want to do a table similar to the one that Cope's got in his build room, except I'm gonna I'm gonna make the hole. You have the hole that you use for doing like the forward drum and pumps and things like that, so you can drop it down through the table. His looks like AOC cut the hole out with her teeth. I want to use a hole saw or something, make it a little cleaner. Mount a vise on it and all that good stuff. And I also have this compressor for doing springs in the high gear drum, and it's a small one that's a bench mount, so I'll probably mount it on there too. Levi says doing stainless tables is expensive. Mater's going to build a computer with all new parts. More power to you. Not my bag, but I think that's great. Buying a used one's the way to go if possible. Looking for trans tear. Yeah, I'm. That's what I want to do. I actually want to have two of them. I want to have a good tear down table, and I want to have a build table. And the tear down table, obviously, you have your tear down table, then you have your parts washer, and then your assembly table. Is a different area, and that will be pretty nice. And I also use it for other things too. I'll use them for heads and probably doing like electric motors and carburetors and anything that's got a lot of small parts and clean area and all that. You know how locksmiths have those little trays that you can put all of your pins and springs and tumblers and all that in? I think it'd be pretty cool to have something just like that for all your transmission valves, where it'd be all numbered like in the valve body. Multi-use, my favorite. Well, yeah, sure. I'll use it for multiple things, but I will have it set up for doing transmissions. Right now, my teardown table. So, you know those plywood banquet tables, the folding legs? Like everybody knows those, like church banquet hall table, right? And it's got the little rubber strip that goes around. They're indoor. Well, I've had one of those outdoor for, gosh, at least about 5 years. They have the large item pickup here, so twice a year or so, the town will come and pick up big oversized stuff, batteries and tires and all. So some dude put a table out there, and I stopped. I looked. I said, "There's nothing wrong with this table. It just looks a little rough." I'm like, "Shoot, yeah." I grabbed that thing, took it, opened it up, left it outside, open, set up outside at least 5 years now, and it is going strong. There's no finish on it. I use that thing all the time. In fact, in my videos, when you see that real trashy looking weathered up table, that's it. That's that you see the short I did today with the smudge pot was done on that table. Andrew Nelson says, anybody watch Calvin's Crazy Effort? Oh, I'll take a chance moving that. Calvin's crazy effort on the transmission nightmares. Ripped into two 4L80Es 2 days before Six Summer. Yikes. I did see something on that a little while back. Calvin was on those. Buick Smith said, speaking of locksmiths, checked out a video called Forged and Filed on Vimeo. I do watch the Lockpicking Lawyer from time to time. That's a good channel. Mater says, too bad you can't use this double sink that's stainless. One of these two tables had a sink in the end, but it was a small one, and it would have worked good for what I had. CSSR says Amazon has stainless tables reasonable. If I can get an American-made stainless, I would much rather. If those Amazons are American-made, I'll look at them. Andrew Nelson says 4 transmissions in 5 days. It was nuts. I bet. Oh, man. Dr. Go is here. Blue Grit says he got a stainless tabletop from Metal Recycling Yard. He put it across a short tool cart. Yeah, I thought about that too. I thought about just using a regular 8-foot table and getting a. So a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't we just go get a piece of stainless, an 8-foot piece of stainless, and put it in the brake?" And I'm considering that. I would consider doing that. But there's some improvements I want to make to most of the ones I see. Like I want to put a really light, like maybe a little 10-degree lip on the end, just to contain check balls and springs and things. Um, I'll definitely put a drain in it, but no swale around the drain. Don't want that. I don't want anything that'll be self-cleaning, but I do want a drain where I can take a squeegee, push transmission oil or engine oil to it and drain. And of course, a gutter in the back. Definitely a gutter in the back. Ideally, a gutter in the back with a screen. So anyway, there's lots of things you can do. I'll have to see. If I wind up building one, I'm gonna build a good one. But get an old autopsy table like a precision transmission. But I noticed some of Cabral's folks are in here today. They enjoyed our lawnmower short yesterday. I rather enjoyed that. If any of you guys want to know what's up with the lawnmower short from yesterday, I was told that what I was and wasn't going to do on YouTube. So I said, well, if you're going to tell me what I'm going to do and not do on YouTube, I'm going to double down and show you what I'm going to do and not do on YouTube. So I thought it was fun, though. Glad y'all enjoyed it. Autopsy table might. I don't know what the sizes are on an autopsy table, but yeah, I bet they would work. And I could also tell people, hey, thousands of dead people have been on my transmission table. Thumper's here. Landon is here. In Pure Pontiac Garage, how you doing? Buff says he saw the lawnmower short. Yeah, that lawnmower short was fun to make. It actually didn't. It didn't film the way I expected. That thing developed an incredible rod knuckle at the very last mow of last season in the fall. So I'm mowing, made like a lap, and I heard some clattering. I thought, man, valves are noisy in this thing. And then I get to the very end, finish mowing, get off the mower, and man, that thing had a loud rod knock in it. And I'm like, yikes, let me roll this thing back up on the trailer and get out of here with it, right? So I was going to start it up with that loud rod knock and film it. And then while I was filming, you could just hear that rod come apart. The video didn't go exactly the way I thought it was going to go. I thought it would have a nice loud rod knock. Instead, the oil was colder and thicker in it. You couldn't hear the rod knock, but you sure heard it come apart in the video. Hot Rod Guy Garage, do we have a go-to for a good custom turbo torque converter? I'm getting 40% slippage from mine. I can recommend you to go to Mike Iben, Top Line Converter. I call him the Torque Converter Whisperer. So Hot Rod Guy Garage, if you want, remind me after the live and I'll get you the info for Mike Iben at Top Line Converter. He does all kinds of stuff. One day he sent me pictures where he was rebuilding a Neil Chance converter for a guy, $6,000 torque converter, and he said they don't even O-ring them. They put a gasket in there. So he puts it in the lathe for an O-ring and makes improvements to even Pro Mod converters. Thumper says, just got the 68 running with the right carbs. Notice a puddle of water under it. Looks like a head gasket. I go with the Phytech backfiring all the time. I'm no longer a fan of Phytech. I'll tell you. So I was listening to that live stream with Lake Speed Jr. and DV and Andy here a few days ago. Lake Speed says that he's a fan of methanol instead of ethanol because he said it's so much more stable. He said that the air fuel doesn't go up and down constantly with methanol. That's what he says. But, what say you, Thumper? Andrew Nelson says Neil Chance and Circle D are our favorites. Andrew Nelson, he showed me pictures and said that the Neil Chance, of course, they're famous for being bolt together torque converters. They have a gasket. They don't have an O-ring like you'd think they do. So what he did is he took that out and he grooved it for an O-ring and made a better converter out of it, I think. And it was a beautiful converter. It was all billet inside. I can't even imagine the machine process of making that thing. If I wasn't having to work off my phone, I would put it up on the screen. Dom isn't a fan of methanol. There's a lot of people who aren't. But he said that the methanol was more stable than the ethanol. Of course, again, what are you running? Is it E85? Is it E100? What's it made from and all that? I don't know. That's something for you fuel specialists to discuss and educate us about. Dust Devil Garage says, I want to challenge everyone to make a No Name Nationals commercial video before the 4th. That sounds pretty freaking cool. Dust Devil's laid it down. Let's see it. Fastang doesn't know anyone who runs straight ethanol. Well, we know one. Thumper in here does. He runs E100. ENR says you can't drive and burn the eyeballs out. Yeah, I probably would, I guess. SSR said O-rings will melt if you stay on the brake too long or pour fluid everywhere. Yeah, could. Maybe it depends what your O-ring's made out of. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it was a rubber O-ring. It could have been like a soft metal or something. I don't know. I just saw pictures in progress. Bigfoots and Mopar says I'm using Proform Boost Reference 750s on my blower. Okay. Andrew Nelson says methanol has many advantages over 1,000. Ethanol is all you need up to 1,000. Okay, that's interesting. I will say it was very interesting and lightning live with Thumper about ethanol. Thought that was very interesting. What I think would be cool now is to have somebody who's a methanol specialist to talk about methanol. And then maybe we can have a live stream where the two of them talk about pros and cons, and that would be interesting. I tell you what, it'd be a lot better debate than what we saw last night, because both of them would be alive. Thumper says Bigfoot, I modified some cheap Chinese 850s. They run pretty good. Yeah, Thumper. One of the things that we discussed in the live stream about ethanol fuel was that he enlarges passages like 30% in a carburetor, which I thought that was all really interesting stuff. And Levi's talking about extreme temperature O-ring material. Yeah, there's all kinds of material out there. I have no idea. I don't know the finished product. I just know that he's one of these guys that if you message him and he said, "Oh, hey, by the way, I just happened to be working on this," sometimes it's something really cool. Dizzy says, "Hey everyone, hope all is good for you. I posted a short ad for the No Name Nationals yesterday." Well, cool. I'll check that out. Any mods want to put up a link for Dizzy's short? That'd be great. Big Mike says he wants to get the Thumper down there to help him set up his ethanol still. BNR said his neighbor had a car that ran the flying toilet. Tucson Ron's flying toilet. There's still a few hardcore fans of that out there. Fast Thing's asking if Thumper runs E100 on his EFI or carburetor. Fast Thing, I've done 2 live streams with Thumper about uh, ethanol technology, and they are very worth watching. I would rarely ever tell somebody it's worth subjecting themselves to going back and watching a rerun of any of my live streams. However, I think the information in those 2 that we did with Thumper are outstanding and they're worth watching on replay. Dean Stevenson from the other side of the universe, how's it going, sir? Thumper says all my old cars are carbureted now. Head to Phytech. Never ran them around my latest Pontiac build. Well, keep up with that on Thumper's channel, I reckon. Turbo Tom says rings on direct injection are Teflon. Okay. Dean says it's cold here, John Wilburn. Yeah, what's cold though? How cold does cold get there? What is cold? Andrew Nelson says the yellow Camaro made 1,017 on day 5 at Six Summer on ethanol. Biggest challenge is trying to find it on the road. It's easy to find in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I bet. I bet all those yellow cars of the Amish, Levi said methanol for high horsepower. Anything under 1,000 to 1,200 ethanol will do just fine. Okay. It's in metrics, so I cannot tell. Well, what is it in Celsius? Unfortunately, can't use my phone at the moment. Well, this is lots of people use methods here. I bet. Yeah, you talk about a yellow car. I like yellow. I've always liked yellow on a car. Well, it says lots of people use meth here. Some places are eating up with it. Very unfortunate. Thumper says 40 below is the same in Celsius and Fahrenheit. Battery Blake is here. Hello. Of course, 0 Celsius is 32 Fahrenheit, right? But I believe it's 2.2 degrees to 1. So um, once you get off of that equilibrium, you'd have to start doing conversion. Well, it will be 2.12 because it's 0 to 100 is freezing to boiling, and no, because then it's 32 and 212. So yeah, you had to do a little bit of math to figure that out. No biggie. That's real life is open book. Isn't that funny? We study for tests in school because they're not open book and think, gosh, if they were open book, tests would be easy. Then we get in real life where real life is open book and people just don't even want to use the books. Go figure. Dean Stevenson says French. French is rarely the right answer unless we're talking about French fries. Auto Salvage Outlaws, how's it going, sir? Dean Stevenson's Amish have the best ideas. Amish are very interesting people. They really are. There's a lot of cool things about the Amish, I will say. I gotta say though, I really think it's freaking funny. You go to where the Amish are, and they'll have these, have these huge trailers that it takes a 2-ton truck to pull. I'm like, why do you have that when you can't have a truck? Like, oh yeah, we have the trailer, we own the trailers. We have our English friends come in all the time to move them for us. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't always get it. Dean says 48.2 Fahrenheit. Says is that what the temperature right now? 48.2. And you say that's cold? If that's cold, I'll take it. The Amish scared us, devil. I've seen Children of the Corn, so yeah, I get that. There's an Amish community near where I'm from, Burke's Garden. It's interesting. Levi wants to know what people think would be cool for a backup girl outfit. What do you guys think? Auto Salvage Outlaws says, my next wife is Amish. They don't speak. Well, that's not necessarily going to work because that either means that you're going to be Amish or she's not going to be. Thumper says it's 56 degrees right now. Been raining all day. Going to rain tomorrow. 56 degrees. 28th of June. And it's 56 degrees. Man, you live in one cold place, Thumper. I got something in my eye. Unfinished project votes for a Jungle Pam uniform. Mm, I think her stuff was kind of a bit ridiculous and tacky, to tell you the truth. Bigfoots and Mopar says raining, lots of flooding. Yeah. Weird you out past you in the buggy. Yeah. Amish Friday night no prep drag racing. You know those guys have raced those buggies. 86 degrees here in Tennessee. Yeah. It's something like that here. Pretty close. Hot enough, I know that. 76 way up north where New Guy's Guitar lives. 82 and humid earlier. I don't know. I don't watch the weather all the time. All I know is it was plenty hot today. Yeah, moved my work table around and doing all kinds of stuff. Talked to a neighbor this morning and says, "Man, heard you running the grinder and stuff." I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, scrapping stuff. It's getting interesting. Then he says he's got to get the wrenching. Haven't been able to for a while. Yeah. After cleaning up from tornadoes, well, that'll do it. Unfinished project said 71 now, 96 this weekend. I'm good with the heat. I mean, it's all right. 38 POS Racing says a plaid mini skirt is a good look. Well, you know what, Ray? You wear what you like. When you're hundreds and hundreds of miles from me, it's all good. This is one of the most old man comments ever, Mohawk. 88 feels like 90 here in South Central Tennessee. Tell us what the difference is between the feeling of 88 and 90. Are you that finely calibrated? Bigfoot says, New Guys Guitar, where are you in Minnesota? You guys are in the Brainerd area, aren't you? I was thinking that's where Dan and Tom are, is Brainerd. Mike says it was only 94 here with a heat index of 101. I don't look at, I mean, if it's hot, it's hot. That's it. I don't care what it is. It's funny, 38 POS Racing says that. I know that the Highland games here, in strength games, the guys, they wear kilts, and they have a rule that you can't wear them authentically, especially for the sheep toss. Dean Stevenson says it only gets up to 105 degrees in my hometown. I've seen over 100 here. I was in New Orleans with it 106 or 108 one time. The hottest I can ever recall in my lifetime it ever being seen on a sign. Bigfoots and Mopars is in Savage, south of the cities. Andrew Nelson says he flew out of Houston this morning at 4:50 a.m. and it was hot. Travis says it's 308 here in Memphis today. I bet. I sound like the weatherman. I'm going around the country reading temps. Dean Stevenson said the haggis and sheep could get mixed up with an unhinged. Ugh, yeah, haggis just sounds like the worst thing ever. Unfinished Project says the highest registered air temperature on Earth, 131 degrees, or 134.1 degrees in 1913 at Furnace Creek Ranch in Death Valley. I can believe that. New Guy's Guitar was in Minneapolis today for work. Dust Devil Garage says I'm not built for heat. I can't drive to work without AC. I'm without air conditioning every day. So Thumper says on the short per day thing, it says 84 subs in the last 28 days. Right on, man. I think I'm at about 105, something close. So we're going to tally the numbers at the end. And it seems like the people who've been doing them are sitting at about 100 subs. That seems to be a pretty good average. Everybody who's participated has gotten about 100 subs for doing it. And the thing is, your odds of having that one take off that you get 100 or 200 subs out of all by itself, the odds are zero if you don't do it. But there's always that chance if you do. And several of our guys, like Rabbit Transit Jay's had that happen. Lars has had that happen. Several people have. I bet I got 25 subs off of that stupid wheel stud short. The one I made to show to Rich that you don't have to take the axle out to change wheel stud. almost 10,000 on the 68 at a car show. Yeah, I've had several of them hit 10,000. Um, I've had almost all of them be 5,000 plus. I've only had a few of them not do. If they don't get more, if they don't get 1,000, I change the title. BNR says I'm up to 773 subs. Really good for me. Yeah, right on, man. Andrew Nelson's got a big day planned tomorrow. Headed to bed. Good night, gang. Thank you for coming by, Andrew. Always glad to have you here. We appreciate you. I was thinking about you guys earlier today too. I keep looking at that dart sport and keep looking and studying on the roll cage. So we might just might be doing the second half of this live from a traditional place. See if this works. Of course, this seems to be working just fine. Blue Grit says I may need to change all the names of my shorts and videos. Blue Grit, the best thing I can tell you is that Sunday at 6 Eastern or 5 Central or 4 Mountain or 3 Pacific, whatever your zone you're in, we have a content creator workshop. It's going to be me and Lars, and man, I'm telling you, we can help you with all these little things that are you're gonna see a big difference because your content is good. I'm telling you, yours is not the stuff you're doing. It's not the stuff you're covering. Oh man, the cars, your service stations, 9-inch axle out, great stuff. It's just the administrative stuff that you need to get it out there. We can help you with that. You have the important part, which is actually the good content and that kind of thing. That's the part that when people struggle with that, all the administrative help in the world never gets them anywhere. But you have that part down, so that's a good thing. All right. One of our cats says, "Howdy ho, people. John, you look like I feel." Yeah, I'll be back in 20. Well, gee, thanks, Don. I will say I've gone just, full speed today. It's been a hard, rough day. Yeah, I'm cleaning out my stash of old tires and moved a table, a lot of sweeping, cleaning up. Man, I've cut down a lot of brush. I bet I've got a whole trailer load. I mean, a big trailer load of brush to go, and this corner of the property that I never do anything with, and it's past time. Needs to be done. Thanks, Dean. I think Dean's a good dude. Dean's check. One of my agents always sends me a check mark just like that. Everybody's different. Thumper says the tech I had on it was on the 65 from 2016 until last month. It worked great, but the ECM quit seeing the tach. Yeah, I'm just too analog in general. I get it. I've worked with systems like that. I built a system like that, but it's just not my style. Thumper wanted to try them out. The pump gas up here in 2016 was going bad in 2 weeks of sitting. So what was the difference with the pump gas up there? That's a that's a good question I would have for Thumper about anywhere. Mopar Al's in the house. How you doing, Al? Buick Smith wants to know what the ages are on the analytics. If you're talking about the ages on the analytics for the YouTube automotive community, it's 45 to 65-year-old males. That's what it is. I would say it's probably very slightly, very, very slightly more female now than it was. Not many. It is an old demographic. Just is. I mean, I'm on the low end of it. Big Mike says, hello, everyone. Don't forget to hit that like. Well, always appreciated. I mean, anytime someone wants to like, they want to subscribe, they want to share and all that, that's awesome. I never ask for that stuff, but if you do actually like it or want to share it, that's great. The only time I ever ask anybody to share anything, when we have the No Name 500 guys on, and we're trying to share their channel, we're trying to share their content. I encourage people to do that because I'm trying to help them. And the only time I say, hey, check them out and see if they earn your subscription is for those guys. So anybody who wants to like, share, subscribe any of my stuff, that's awesome. But I don't ask for me. I am super blessed to have you guys. Demographic is getting older every day. Kinda for what we do. Yeah. I think that's a fair statement. Barrow says, hey, I made it. Yes, you did. How's it going, Barrows? Barrows, Content Creator Workshop, 6 Eastern. I think, I'm not exactly sure what your time is. We'll work with you on that start time, though, because we want to work together for best results. Turbo Tom said, I had a CJ7 towed in this afternoon. No start. Acts like a resistor problem. You turn the key to start it, and as soon as you let go, it quits running? Is that what it's doing? That would be a rotary 79 cubic inches, Dean. Big Block 402. How's it going, Stephen? Thanks for joining us, man. After Jeff's rail B&R wants Hilburn mechanical injection. Yeah, Barrows, we'll definitely work it out. We'll definitely work it out. I find that when people work together on their lives, it benefits both channels. 22 gallons drums balls you used. I like the rotary. I've never gotten to work with one. I always wanted to. I just love that concept. Oh, Big Block 42 just laid up after a small knee surgery. Get well. Let us know if we can help you. All right, I'm going to try to move over to that camera. Bear with me. Watch me make a huge mess out of this, but I'm going to try. I can do this. I think I just made that work. I think so. But I got an echo on my phone. If I can, got to get myself out of here now. Can't hit end. I know that. I did that one time. I think I got it now. All right. Last time I tried to do that, I kicked myself out, couldn't get back in for a minute. Hey, now you can see my printer. I did not realize how many tentacles this shop reorganization was going to have, because I'm moving some filing cabinets out of there, and I'm moving one or two here. Then the printer is going to go over there, and that's going to free this up. And it's really great. It's just a lot for one person to do. So it's just taking me all summer, but it's going to be worth it. The end goal, though, is that it's going to really be nice in the shop. And I'm going to have my Dart Sport inside on the flat concrete where I can do a lot more work. And I'm looking really forward to that. And then that frees up my my roving spot that I use all the time for service, which is nice. Dizzy Izzy says you might get more female viewers if you go shirtless. Dizzy, one, you're right, and two, it's a horrible idea. I can't even imagine what kind of people of low standards those would be. I've been enjoying watching what Mopar Al's been doing. Interesting stuff. I love watching the progress on the Lark. Unfinished project, put up the link to the No Name National site. Yep, if you have not yet registered, you can do so there. Speaking of that, all of the No Name 500 guys who do the 30 shorts in 30 days will get one of these. These are our banners. And these are going to be going in the store at that site too. Barrow said, I was thinking of you today when I did that last short on those homemade transmission tools we made decade ago. Yeah, there's some cool ones. I know that Cope has a homemade tool for doing compressing servo springs that his father made, and he still uses it in his shop every day. And it's a cool. I don't know if it's been in a video or not, but it's cool. I have a homemade tool that I use as a holder for holding like a Titan CV axle nut, pinion nut, and it's just a piece of flat bar with strategically drilled holes, and one's cut out for a crank, and one's drilled for holding like a brake rotor and different stuff. Anyway, I'm working on something for a short with that thing. But homemade tools are great. Taking the time to make them. Unfinished project, put up the link for Big Bad Jones. He's put up the link for Riley's Junkyard and Petting Zoo. Thumper, please no. I second, third, and 14th that. Engine Light Garage, yep. All these guys are getting there. So indirect connection, if you're in here, Jason, you're getting close. And you're pretty close. Probably next week might be we can do your 500 live. And something I'll mention too about indirect connection. He is a bona fide part of Rapid Transit Garage and grew Rapid Transit Garage together with Jay to their first 500 subs. Jason liked it so well, he's doing it twice, and he doesn't even have to. He's doing it on principle, just to show people he's willing to start over and do it. Talk about a guy who puts his money where his mouth is. Thumper, with you, sometimes that's the case. Thumper, you should do a video in a bench shirt. How about that? I'll meet you halfway. Put your old Inzer Blast on. Do a video in that. There is no way mine would fit me now. No way. Cannot even imagine. I mean, mine looked 3 sizes too small when I was 205. Over the bench shirt, sure. Here's the link to Blue Grit Garage and Mean Street Mopar. You can check out any of these guys on the homepage of my channel. They're all right there. As always, go check them out. If they earn your sub, subscribe. Those guys have earned my sub. There's no asterisk by their name when they get their 500. Colleen says, good news. My $100 36-inch brush cutter runs. Hey, sounds like a victory to me. Indirect Connection says, if the live goes next weekend, say Saturday, I'll be in a secret location in Washington. Okay. And Buick Smith. Buick Smith's around 100 subs, so he's got a lot of work to do. Bent Thumper, you've never used a bench shirt, like ever? Are you a raw or nothing lifter? I will totally get behind people who say that they don't recognize bench shirt lifts. I get that because they are ridiculous. The biggest shirt lifter in the world, was it Korb is his name? 1,400 pounds. When he can't do 7 raw, it's out of hand now. So I'm kind of thinking that thing should never have been invented. Big Block 402 said, put up a short with a trending song and got 10,000 views and 25 subs in 24 hours. Yes. Right on. Thumper says, who has the white 67 to 69 Barracuda? Got your shorter car from last year. Are you talking about the Nacho Cuda of Bad Tree Productions? That's what it sounds like. Have the 21 on the door, and it's about 3 different colors. That will be the Nacho Cuda. Thumper said, I got this big doing my air cargo job. Not going to say what I've done natural. It's up there. Yeah, I was thinking Thumper's around a 5 bills bench or something like that. I've got some friends that bench a lot, and that's never been one of my best lifts at all. It's fun. I like it. I'm just not any good at it. I got these really crazy long arms, and it's just I've never been able to do anything in proportion to my other lifts. Yeah, that's it, the Nacho. Yep. Love that car. We'll see if the Nacho winds up showing up at No Name Nationals. Unfinished Project says fabulous. He's fabulous today. That's great. Thumper says, when I built my first container house, I picked up a 500-pound roll of rubber roofing and carried it to the top of the house. That's a lot. That's a lot. Barrows can bench a 904, but C6 is out of question. That's one thing that's nice about a 904 is they're still just the right size. It's not a big deal to stick one on your shoulder and carry it. Numbers that was 46 at the time. Yeah, you're a big dude. I'd love to see some of your stuff. Put some weightlifting clips on your channel. It'd be interesting. Colleen says, hopefully the Nacho Cuda will be there if it didn't float away. Yeah, you never know. I don't think they were planning on bringing the Nacho last year, but it just worked out that way. And I hope it does again this year. I love that car. I got to take a ride in it. I thought that was cool. Rabbit Transit J is here. We were just talking about you, buddy. He says, late to the party, just touched down in Tennessee and route to Florida. Well, cool. You picked the right time of year when it's blazing hot. You finally have decent weather where you live, and you go to where it's burning hot. Do it in the winter when it's all iced up. Although any time is good. What part of Florida? I'm assuming you're in Nashville. It's where your airport is, but you're going to some part of Florida. Yeah, Jay showed up. He does that sometimes. Thumper says, haven't lifted in over 35 years. And Korea was asked what his max was. Did the most on the base of time. That's cool. You definitely have the genetics for it, that's for sure. Unfinished project has carried 200-pound bags of feed, one on each shoulder. I don't see me doing 500. Whew. I have done a couple of 80-pound bags on the shoulder before, and that is freaking heavy. And I would not try it today because I would probably be hurting for days and days just for trying. And you know what? Today I would think, man, that'd be dumb to try. But 20 years ago, I'd be like, man, it's dumb to make 2 trips. So it's funny how we look at that. I bet Unfinished Project's got some serious grip strength. He got the hands for it. DNR wanted to carry that 4-banger across the shop. Yeah. I don't know. Still, from time to time, I've moved engines with a short chain going across the intake. Intake bolts hold the chain in. Straddle it pretty wide, move it a few inches at a time, and move them across the floor that way. It's not like I'm picking them up or anything, though. I don't know. I don't like to test fate anymore. I don't want to get hurt. I'm definitely not as strong as I was. I don't need to verify how much I've lost. I mean, trust me, I know. Thumper says my grip is bad. I actually, at one time, had my grip really well developed. And again, I don't know where it is now, but see, years back, one of the best deadlifters at our gym, we called him Chico, and he was a town cop. And he was always repping out 550, no wrist straps. He never used them. I'm like, man, how do you hold on to that like that? And he says, well, if I used the wrist straps, I couldn't do it without wrist straps. But because I do it without wrist straps, that's why I can do it. He was making a point. The point is, if you keep crutching your grips with those straps, you'll never build the grip. And he was right. So I got rid of the straps. I went down, worked on getting my grip better just with chalk, and I quit using them too. And my best deadlifts are without them. So, smart guy. Very cool guy. He was a bicycle cop. And his upper body did not go with his lower body. Big arms, big chest, everything. And then he had these little chicken legs. But he was a good deadlifter. Never seen him squat, but he was a bicycle cop. He's retired now, but he would ride around in the downtown, and people loved him. He was great. He was just great guy. And he liked to write all these busy work tickets. So now you didn't go downtown with expired tags, expired sticker, any of that, because he liked writing those kind of nuisance civil tickets that just had a fine with them, because he didn't want people getting points and stuff. So he got his quota in whatever doing that. But anyway, he was quite a deadlifter. That was kind of his specialty. Really funny guy. Big Block 402 said I used to pick up the big oxyacetylene bottles on my shoulder and carry them. It's all done. I'll never do that because it scares me to death, the idea of dropping one and breaking the valve. That's why I wouldn't try it. Not saying it's maybe I'm crazy, but just the fear of that just weirds me out. Unfinished Project said, don't think you can't still build muscle. It takes a little longer. Yeah, I get it. Kim survived spinal injections. Right on. Barrows says, when I was doing HVAC and the red, yellow, and green grip 10 hours a day on those 10 temps, yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I used to have the calluses on the hands, from the barbells, and yeah, I don't anymore. Number says, I want to stop packing muscle on. The more trees, gravel, engines, transmissions I move, the bigger I get. Well, dude, you're what, 55? I don't think you have to think nature's going to help you with that, so I wouldn't stress it. Unfinished project is also glad Kim survived. Kim says, we need a grip contest at No Name Nationals like a dyno. So I was watching on Brian Shaw's channel. I think he's 4-time world's strongest man. He had Devin Larratt on his channel picking up these round rocks for grip. What's the heaviest? Because this thing has no actual way to grasp it. So you have to pay its chest. It's pure grip strength to pick those things up. And those things went up to 50 pounds, and they're round, and it's all strength of the grip to lift it. I thought it was really cool. Unfinished project. I know you've seen that video. If you want to put up a link to that, it's pretty freaking cool. Buick Smith says, I'll bring my anvil. Yeah, I always worried about what my grip was going to do on this hand. You see that big scar in the middle of the finger, and then that one right there, that little forked-looking scar on that fingertip, that's from a dumbbell in the gym. That was a 55-pounder splitting into my finger open. That's a moving truck. But I was always concerned that this hand would never have the grip, and it was pretty weak for a while. But I rehabilitated it, and I actually think I have better grip on this hand than my right hand. I'm right-handed. But now it's all just kind of a wash. Very functional, but I don't test it anymore, so I don't have any idea. Boy, if we have arm wrestling known in Nationals, unfinished project, he's definitely going to find a way to be there. BNR, what's interesting is Larratt said no, grip is not really it. In fact, what he said is that you want your opponent to grip you. I thought that was really interesting. It's actually, from what he says and shows, a lot more technique than your grip. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have grip, but I thought that was interesting. Pumper says, I grew up on a farm. There's a reason I started out pretty big. Bench 265 at 17, the body weight of 172. Yeah, that's big. That's big genetics. You look like you have the genetics. You have every indicator from the guys I know that bench a lot. You look like you're made to bench. There is the video, the grip strength. That's an interesting video. I think it's cool. I know we do automotive here, but occasionally we do other things and mention other things. And that's another thing. If you're interested in what other stuff I watch stuff like that. Dizzy said, Dad did tie walls a side job, had Dizzy carrying cross ties up and down a small hill at 14. Yeah. Ron English says, how do, Mr. Wilburn and all? Wrong English in the house. Upward lift a bunch of transmissions into cars. Yep. I almost feel like every transmission should come with handles on it just to help move it. Of course, it practically does between the bell housing and the output shaft. Levi says, I stay away from the gym bad people usually come from here, at least. The thing that gets me these days, and you'll see that guy's name is Joey Swole on YouTube. He calls out this bad behavior by people who like to make YouTube content and social media content in the gyms. And man, it just seems weird. That was not a thing, last I was in the gym. That just wasn't a thing. Social media had not really become a thing. DNR says his late buddy Bob Hines was a muscle-bound guy, strong like Thumper and likely more. We loved arm wrestling. He was a lefty, and I'm right. All righty. Buick Smith said, post up Magnus Midbow, 73-year-old man, has strongest grip. I haven't seen that one. There's also a lot of, well, just like there's a lot of automotive fountain of misinformation videos on YouTube, there's also a lot of fountain of misinformation strength videos, a lot of bogus strength. What's that guy's channel? He's changed his name several times. It's always a red flag. He was God of Strength, and now it's some other weird name. He's like the world's biggest ego lifter. He's been kicked out of every gym in his area. He's just completely full of crap. He'll move some huge amount of weight on a Smith machine, which is substantially easier than a free weight bar, and he'll move it with his real short range of motion. Yeah, man, I just set a world record. Anyway, he's like a walking lunk alarm. Thumper says, not even close to strongest guy I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I know some people benching 750, so I'm not even anywhere anywhere in that stratosphere. Those guys are just wild. Bear Rose says, when I was growing up, Warren's Cherry Pie played at volume 12 in every gym. Well, so the gym I enjoyed the most was the weight club in Blacksburg. And what was great about it was just the best gym because I explain this. If you're looking straight in and you were to look to the right side is where all your free weights, squat racks, all of that was. And man, they were great. You could have chalk, you could be noisy. They didn't care. They were so cool. And then over on the left is where you had most of your machines and the older folks and all that. And everyone got along so good. It was just such a great place. And now I think with these crazy woke people, these angry and all this of the last 10 years, I've not set foot in there. That was a great gym for that reason. But the music of the hour I went was always just, like old classic rock and stuff. So I never had any complaints there. Mike's enjoying his lifting. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I was in the gym an hour and a half a day, 4 days a week. Loved it. Thumper says nothing better than the exhausted feeling loading cargo planes for 12 hours. Yeah. As long as it's not for months with no days off. Yeah, I bet. Dean likes gangster rap when working out. Yeah, I'll pass. That's a hard pass. I'll tell you the place that was always so difficult with the music was at Virginia Tech. My gym was War Memorial. And they just opened McComas, which was the student gym across campus. And it was really nice. It was large and all that. But the student gym is where they had all the new, hip music and the rap music and all that stuff. And just the old people gym, as I call it, War Memorial, where I was one of the youngest people there, it was definitely more my style. Great gym. It was just small. It wasn't very big, but it was great. DNR says Bob would have loved the No Name Nationals. Burnout's his favorite thing to do in a 440 Mopar. Well, that's William's favorite thing to do in his 440 Mopar. Ron's is all pass also. That said, some of my editing, I just used a clip from the Ghetto Boys. So, you never know what kind of music or whatever will pop up in the video I do. You just never know. Not that it's a mainstay. That's what Thumper likes. NWA, Two Live Crew, all the 80s stuff. Yeah, nope. More power to you. Okay, see, somehow I just knew Thumper would like that. Jed would be proud. That's his band too. Unfinished project. Supposedly 70-year-old strongest grip. He is a big boy. Yeah. You know, the deadlift record controversy I remember a few years back between Thor and Eddie Hall was that Thor did not do his lift in competition. It's what's called a gym lift. And a gym lift can be legit form and everything, but in competition, you don't get to pick when you do your lift. You're just cycling through the other lifters and so forth. So it's kind of like an even playing field in regards to that. Everybody has the same disadvantages. So I get that. I do get that. I think that's is an honest criticism of it. But man, both of those guys are crazy strong. 1,100-pound deadlifts. Any way you slice it. I think it's so cool. Indirect Connection says Ramstone's my wife listens to. She played it at her wedding. That's disturbing, but more power to you. Yeah, I can't even show pictures from a Rammstein concert on here. Unfinished project has put up the link for Dougster. Okay, what's up, Dougster? How you doing, sir? You sneak in here, Slant Daily Garage. What's up, suckers? 38 says, I hope you don't mind. This live is the background for several shorts. Okay. Don't know what's up with that. Levi says, curious your thoughts as to why circle track cars almost always have more sponsorship than other forms of racing. I will say that with that, it's something that a lot more people understand because of NASCAR. It's kind of like, think about this. Football might have more sponsorship than, say, basketball, and certainly more than baseball. Circle track is something that seems like, I don't know. You think about it, circle track, people go and they sit and they drink in the stands for hours, and cars go around in circles, and a lot of profiles on the drivers. It just seems to be a very sponsor-friendly type of thing. BNR said he squatted 425 at 15. It's a healthy squat. Look at that number in orange. Yes. 82 days, 2 hours, and 31 minutes. Woo. They're on the track longer. They're on the track longer. And that absolutely for sure. I also think, though, that I think that your really, really casual fans can identify with it a little bit better. Not the technology or anything, but just the fact that they go around in circles. I think they understand. You spread out the nuances over a much bigger period of time than you do drag racing. Ron said, if I tried to do a squat, I would be on the couch just as fast. Turn left so you don't get lost. Yep. I missed the squat rack. It's good stuff. I will never understand what in the world are wrong with these people. If you go to YouTube and you look for squat rack fails, every time it's some dude who unracks the bar and they're using the front of the rack and they step back where there's absolutely no catch bars and do their squat. And there's no collars. They dump the weights and everything else. Like, you stupid people, you deserve everything that just happened to you. The rack is designed with catch bar pins that you put in there. Step inside of that, lift off the bike, And then you have those bars right below where your legs are parallel. Of course, most people doing that stuff never get parallel anyway. So what do they need them for? And then they don't use the collars. So you can find a lot of lifting fails on YouTube by people who just don't want to be safe. They want to have failure. I don't know. I mean, I was the same thing about doing gym safety like I am on track safety. There's some stuff I just don't know why people don't want to do it. Buick Smith said her daughter's boyfriend just finished a big sky race in Montana. Want to do it next year? Cool. Miss One-Eyed Cat. I don't know what Professor P's agreeing with me on, but right on, man. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate you. Bickford Customs on YouTube. That rings a bell. Well, hey, you know what? The No Name Nationals is a community, and if people like this community, they'll like the event. Community really comes first. Thumper says, I want to do Rocky Mountain Race Week next year. Want to be able to gas her 64 or 65 Le Mans for it. If you do it, I want to see it. Dean says, didn't do it with the right accent. Ich bin ein Ausländer. Okay. No Hawk said, Wendy just got home. At 9:30 on the dot, you can set your watch by when Wendy gets home. Unfinished Project says he has a decent driver quality set of taillights for an Isuzu Trooper, 91 to 98. And I'm sure he'll trade those for some 74 Dart bezels. Maybe. Blue Grip put Rob Zombie on Pandora and let it run. All right. Levi, I'll say one thing. Sponsors, there's always a catch. Nothing is free. Heavens Mopar Scott is here. Working day shift now during the summers. Cool. Well, glad you could join us, man. Southern Juju is here. I see JB's little shop. Well pronounced there, John. I took a year and a half of German in college. Doesn't mean a thing in the world, but I enjoyed the classes. I could probably read enough to get by over there without getting in trouble, but that's about it. Slant Daily says, I took my twins to Guar show 2 weeks ago. They loved it. That's pretty wild. Guar doesn't even have to wear costumes anymore. They've aged to look like that, right? Oh, Slant Daily Shane. If you have not seen my short that I did yesterday of the lawnmower engine, you might want to see that. I think you'll enjoy it. Forgot to tag you on that one. Yeah, those dudes have to be 100 now. They were old when Beavis and Butthead were watching them. Thumper says, I was stationed in Frankfurt from 89 to 91. I can get around, get drunk, find the toilet, very important, get slapped in bars. 1 beer or 2. This is not one. BNR says, Roundy Round was opposite of drag racing. Extremely difficult to get big name sponsors like Holly. Yeah, I don't know. JB says 83 days. Not sure we will make it. Actually, it's 82, 2 hours and 25 minutes. That's the thing. You just start working. If you start working when there's not even a number back here, between the No Name Nationals and New Year's Eve, there's no number back here.
If you start working right then, you'll be fine. Every year. I'm telling you that now because watch this. Check this out. Next year, somebody is going to see that calendar at very few days to go. Oh man, I'm out of time. And right now, I'm telling you, if you get on it, it won't be a thing. Very few people heed that. Don English, he heeded that. And that's why Don got there, no rush, got his work done. Telling you. Lars puts up my short from yesterday. If you haven't seen the short with the mower, you might enjoy it. If you like to watch Rich 220 automotive restorations, you'll enjoy it much more. We'll call it a tribute. Yeah, and there are even fewer days if you get there. That's correct. That is correct. That is correct because that doesn't count your travel time or anything. So you really don't have that many days to work. I mean, you can work in the pits, you can work on the grounds, but I'm telling you, if your plan includes working after you get there, your plan sucks. Heavens Mopar says the front of the Charger gets cut off this weekend and replaced this week. Stephen Holtz and Jason Falk will help me drop the engine in it on July 9th and 10th. Y'all are rocking. Me looking forward to that. Hopefully you'll go live from up there. Shane, like, I figured you would. Unfinished Project says, what's the best way to degloss paint without damaging it? I found some gloss that needs between a satin and a flat. So he's trying to dull some paint to match, it sounds like, maybe. Yeah, Mohawk, I don't know what's forbidden there, but I don't know what's up with that. Dean Stevenson says it's going to be the next track prep compound, and I'm going to get rich on it, Mexican Spec. Levi liked the short. Yep, it was fun to make. 38 says my plan is to get 2 cars down there. I hope the biggest problem will be having 2 drivers. No smoking, yeah. Cool. JB says 400 grit and a sander. Sounds quite plausible. I guess it would kind of depend on if it's clear coated or not. I don't know. I'm not a body guy. We need Bondo Billy or Rich 220 or one of our experienced paint professionals to opine. Heavens Mopars had to do a complete drip system for the raised garden bed for the wife and in the front yard. Barrow says sponsorships are good and all, but that money ain't free for sure. Tiring up a monster truck 4 times in a day and hauling bacon back to the arena is exhausting. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Heavens Mopars, now I can play. Yeah. You got 82 days and 2 hours and 20 minutes, Scott. Rock and roll, buddy. JB says, I will rent LP out for a driver. Yeah. Do you wear a fedora, JB? Unfinished Project can't have sand scratches. It doesn't have to. I mean, if you do it with compound, like some rubbing compound, that might be a way to, you might. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. You might be able to rub it down with a little brake cleaner and take it off and dull it. Because I know that when I've gotten brake cleaner on glossy paint, it makes a dull area you can't get back very well. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what you should try. Bondo Billy might be a good one to ask, in all seriousness. BNR says, I'm working on a 454 tomorrow. Cool. Kim fixes things. Is that Iron Duke a front driver or rear driver? Still got it? Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Blue Gritch, you got to get some subs. You got to get some subs. Make it happen, man. You can do it. Thumper is suggesting Scotch Brite. That might be, that actually sounds like a really plausible thing. I don't know. Mexican Spec is saying clear satin spray. Maybe. I don't know. Here's the link to Blue Grit Garage. Yeah, Content Creator Workshop. For those of you who didn't catch it earlier, we're having a Content Creator Workshop this Sunday, 6 Eastern Time, with LP94 Lars, this guy right here, LP94. And we're going to help you guys fine-tune the administrative things of YouTube to get the most out of your content, to get your 500 subs, to punch your ticket to participating in the No Name Nationals. And by the way, not trying to discourage anybody, but just know, if you don't get your 500 subs, of course your registration is still a spectator ticket. It does still, because the registration is for your car and your driver and your human handler. So you still have a spectator ticket. And we've had several guys redeem their participant registrations for spectator tickets when they didn't get their subs. Levi's saying, who's going to win the bracket this year? Well, Joe won it the first year. T's Good Time Garage is defending. And I believe T's going to he's trying to come back from Utah to defend. So we'll see. It's hard to count either of those guys out. And there's a lot of other guys who can do some stuff too. What style tree for the bracket class? We use a Sportsman tree in the bracket class. We use an instant green in 2810.5. And call-outs can use other kinds of trees as they wish, like Pro Tree. A lot of guys use a Pro Tree for call-outs. Barrow says a well-placed No Name National sticker fixes all blemishes. Can fix quite a few. 38 agrees. Scotch Brite takes primer off the OE paint, leaves a matte finish. You know, yeah, those are some guys that know some stuff. Be worth a try if they suggested it. Lars puts up the LinkedIn direct connection. He needs to find 44 more people to board. Well, I will say this. When you get around 275 in direct connection, we'll do a live together, and we should get them. So just get a little closer first. Yeah, well, that's not necessarily the thing, Colleen, is that. Really what's more important is building a community and people giving up some of that anonymity and all that and putting their projects and themselves and their stuff out there to build a community. And a short hitting is great, but that's not really the thing. I will say, though, that Lars does have a lot of experience doing shorts from the phone, shorts from mobile. He's got a good idea for what people watch. He's a really smart guy. I think Lars is an excellent choice. And I think that, you know, having a few shorts really take off is great. But, man, that's like the least of the reasons I would have Lars on there. There's a lot of great reasons to have him on a Content Creator Workshop. And we're also going to be having one more Content Creator Workshop after that, probably around the first part of August or middle of August with Buck. Buck Does It. So that'll make us 3 Content Creator Workshops on the year. Lots of opportunity. But I will say, if you're currently running the No Name 500, especially if you're 300-ish or below, you need to jump on it. Lowry's Garage says, what's the last date to enter? Tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. You can enter any time. You can enter right up until time. What I will say is we appreciate it when people commit and register early because it helps us try to project the budget and pay for things and all of that. And so when people commit early, it helps us. And so what you're probably going to see is a price notch in the middle of the year next year. And what I said last year is I'd like to have had 150 pre-registrations by Memorial Day. That many people commit. And so I'll probably do that for next year, but I'm going to have a price step at Memorial Day. I would think you can probably expect to see that. Indirect Connection says, I have the short schedule to the 4th. Cool. Yeah, I've got one that I'm working on that'll be out a little later. I did mine for today on a smudge pot of all things. How many are left around the No Name 500? I'm not looking at it right now. I want to say 8, maybe 9. Big Bad Jones can catch you after it's over. Cool. But Big Bad Jones, you're also 400, you're close to 450 subs too. So you're in good shape. Here's a link to Lowry's Garage, unfinished project puts up. Max Wage Dick Dastardly, what's going on, man? No Name Nationals is good money. I don't care the price, good, because we're probably going to have to make an adjustment for next year. I was very conservative in the price increase last year and didn't do one this year. I still could at any time. I told people it was coming, just have not done it yet. But you better believe we want it to be fun, safe, pay for itself. We need that. If you want to see the prices stay as low as they can, then obviously encourage your friends to come. Sell spectator tickets. Encourage your fellow content creators to come out. So the more participation we have, the less we need to make that adjustment. Ron Bar's Nest put out a short this evening. Right on. Mike just needs to know what time to go fetch the flight plans for the burnout competition. You'll know. Big Mike's, he's been there, done that, and literally has the t-shirt. It's a fun event. I love it. It is an insane amount of work for me. That week is just extremely busy for me, but I really enjoy it. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Number's been trying to get other channels to show up. Yeah, and the thing is when you go and you have fun time and everything, we've got a lot of new faces this year. So Lowry says, I'm hoping to have my truck painted together in time. That's good. One thing I will say is never worry about, having stuff perfect or right or any of that. Man, this is like the least snobby people in the world. One of the favorite cars that shows up every year is the Nacho Cuda. It's about 3 different colors. We've literally had stuff pulled out of the woods. No one is ever going to say, well, that's not show quality. You'll never hear that at No Name National. So, and the most important thing, I've said this many times, I mean it, and that is what's important are the people. We want you guys to show up. We want to meet you. And if you guys show up, your cars will follow. I've noticed kind of a backward mentality with car shows. They're all about the cars. What is the car count? What cars are going to be there? Oh, yeah, there's all those bored guys sitting behind them in lawn chairs, whatever. No, we're the opposite. We want to meet you guys. We want to meet the content creators. That's why we have the No Name 500 here. You're on camera showing us your stuff, showing us your struggles and your builds and so forth. And the cars follow. So in firearm training, to be a good operator, it's mindset first, tactics second, skills third, gears last. Most people work in exactly the wrong order. Gear first, trying to make skill with no training, tactics on their imagination, and then mindset's non-existent. But if you flip that around, it works so much better. And the No Name National is the same way. What we do is we flip the mentality of the car show around. Instead of starting with the show car and all the perfection and the right crayon marks and the $20,000 paint job and all this stuff, and then the people are just like, insignificant to the event, we may turn that completely around. It's about you guys, and then the cars come with you. Barrow says, even if your car or truck doesn't make it, it's all good. You'll have the time of your life. That is correct. Big Bad Jones is my channel. My channel has gotten a ton of subscribers doing the shorts challenge. I think everybody who's done it's gotten 100 subs or better. Kim asks, is the track still called Jeffers? No, it is not. The track is, so historically the track is the Sikeston Drag Strip. And it is now named the Skelton Raceway at Sikeston Drag Strip. But Sikeston Drag Strip is the 1969 universal name, but it is now the Skelton Raceway at Sikeston Drag Strip. Same track, and Possum is now running that track. Mayor Possum, as we call him, great dude, and from what I can see, and I've talked to Possum several times, everything there is on the way up and better than ever. They have a company called TrackMass they do consulting with that is prepping the track. They're buying traction compound for them, working their recipes on the track. Possum has put an enormous amount of work in there. They got the 330 timing lights fixed. They spent money on infrastructure. We should see the best track we've had since we've been there. And it was great before, but I expect it to be better this time. And I expect you guys to be just as awesome as ever and never leaving any trash and perfect conduct. I'm telling you, each of the last 2 years, I've gotten the best reviews from the track personnel. Says, man, that is the best group that ever comes here. Those guys never leave any trash. They never have any fights or arguments. They're always so nice to our staff. They're nice to the concession stand workers. That's what we want. We show them who we really are every year. And I can't tell you how happy that makes me to hear that. Ryan Barsness says shorts are good things for subs, not ideal for long content viewers. That's true. I mean, it is. But the thing is that the No Name 500 really needed some B12 in it this year. And so while my personal preference would be to see everybody do it with long form content, I think the shorts were just the shot of B12 this year's No Name 500 needed. SSR Performances, Sikeston is my favorite track. It's a great track. Really, it is. It is a great track. And you live right there at Beacon, don't you? Or did? Google Maps still lists as Jeffers. That's okay. Everybody can find it. It'll list either way. You do a search. 389 Sandywood Road, Sikeston, Missouri. Think about it like this, Kim. The track's not even in Sikeston. I believe it's in Minor. It's between Minor and Blodgett. Everybody finds it. People who cannot find that track could never make it there anyway. That track has been there for 55 years. Big Bad Jones says, I've thought about calling out Indirect Connection on a subscriber race, but I'm afraid he'll smoke me. Well, I mean, without the fear of losing, what's the point of the call out? He's 2 subscribers ahead of me. Okay. Go for it. I mean, it sounds to me like the most even race for subs we've ever had. We did that last year between Tony's Hot Rod Garage and the One-Eyed Cat, Don English. To advertise at the locals, Kim, the locals know exactly where that track is. You can see it from I-55. Every local there knows where that track is if they don't even know the name of it or watch drag racing. They'll definitely know where that is. They all see it. If you were advertising it to locals, you would say across from the pallet burning place. Indirect Connection says we've been back and forth about 3 times. Yeah, I usually go in there and update it, but it's you guys are both really close. Thing is hopefully within a week or so, you guys are both going to be across that finish line and in the alumni section. But then you'll forever be in the order you crossed. So Whatever order you want to be in perpetuity, whatever order you want to forever be in the alumni section, is the order you finish in the contenders. Do remember that, because whoever crosses first is whoever's going to be the next one in the alumni section. That's the way that'll be, and that'll never change. But don't worry, Big Bad Jones. Indirect connection. He's got his number 2 forever. Jason has number or Jay has number 1 forever. That's another thing too. For those of you who might not know, if you renew by Labor Day, you can renew your number from last year. But to have a car number, you have to have been there the year before and participated the year before. So, for instance, Big Bad Jones, you don't have a car number yet, but you'll get one this year, and you'll have the opportunity to renew it for next year. Rapid Transit J, number 1. That's his medical directive. If he becomes incapacitated and turns all Biden on us, his family knows to keep him registered in case he comes out so he can keep that number 1. Car being half a cop car. I haven't seen the video, but it looks like Birdsong's got something up with an old 68 Coronet police car, which is cool because I've seen the 69 Plymouth Belvedere police cars, and those look super cool. And I haven't seen the Coronet version, but I'd like to. Oh, we've been telling Jay that for years. Well, Jay can find his way off the stage. He's not that frail. Slant Daily has number 69. Levi, I do not know off the top of my head who's 75. Oh, we'll see who 75 is. Irish Outlaw J is 75. Dust Devil Garage says, people need to remember that we are the advertisement for the No Name Nationals. The more No Name Nationals content you put out, the more spectators will show up. It's on us. That is correct. Don has 62. Yes, he does. Mexican Spec, how far up do the numbers go? They'll go up as far as they need to. 10 or 31 taken. Well, we're not going to do by request because that'd be a nightmare. But yes, 10, 31. They've both been issued for sure. Bigfoot Mark has number 10. And 31 is something Alex. So they'll both have the options to renew. You know, One-Eyed Cat's got stuff going to start happening in a hurry. Yes, it will. Can a guy choose a 3-digit number? There's some latitude within the scale of numbers we have. So we've issued, I think, we're up to about 125 or so, and you can get within that. Something hasn't been taken. The thing is, though, is people have to show up to get a number. Numbers are not issued until people get there for good reason. Turbo Tom says, I was number 116. Ryan Bar's Nest, 21 is a bad tree number, and they're re-registered this year, so. You didn't get moved to the front of the line, Don. It just worked for you. Let me tell you, the worst number for No Name Nationals is not getting a number. BNR says 82 is mine, right? I'll tell you, I really like that you guys keep it. And something I just think is the most awesome thing. People keep their numbers from year to year. Keep them on the cars, even most of them. I mean, more of them have them on the cars than not. Never expected that, but it's just super cool. Cope said that's a sign of respect. Well, I think it's cool. You can, about practically every content creator, their number is either on their car, or if they've sold the car or whatever, they have the number and it's in their shop somewhere. Toolbox, garage door somewhere. Really neat. Really, really neat. Rob's Rods and Streetcars. How's it going, Rob? Big Mike says 29 is his number. Mexican Specs, the number 257 has followed me all my life. Well, probably in a few years we'll be getting up into those numbers. 38 is. I think aren't you 38, Ray? Yeah, you are. And that was sometimes when there's just gaps in the book or whatnot, it's worked out like that. So he does have 38. BNR still has his 82 on. See, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Big Bad Jones says, good night. Good night, buddy. We're actually in overtime. It has flown by tonight. We're at our time already. It has flown by. Rabbit Transit says number 1 is still on the dart. Ryan Barsness says, I have no idea what was supposed to be in 2020. Well, that's why I said no one gets issued a number until they get there. So, front of the line at the machine shop. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll tell you what, you're fortunate. So, are you getting your block board, Don? All right, Slant Daily's out. Yeah, we're in overtime now, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stick around just a few more minutes, and then we'll call it a night. But 38 is taken. I hope to have 59 too. I don't know. We'll see. Mama M3 said, Damien, maybe bringing the Shadow, the Mustang. Would he get a new number or keep the 96? If you bring a different car, you get your same number back. If you bring both, one of them would have to get a different number, obviously. Big Mike said, hoping for 21's named across the finish line. LP94 says, here's the registration site. If you've not yet registered, you can register there. Is 68 spoken for? Yes, it is. Off the top of my head, I do know that. This is what happens when you get a bunch of deplorables in a room. Yes, it is. Do we bring painter's tape for assigned numbers? I have the numbers. They are 5-inch high uniform numbers. I have them on site. So, and when you get there, I try to get in and greet everybody, and we get you checked in, circle you on the list, get you your car number, give you the layout of what's where at the track, and show you where the tech line is. And, of course, welcome you for coming to the No Name Nationals. Mohawk, thanks for coming in. Dust Devil says, I will be number 25 forever. Yes, he will. Mexican Spec says, but will they get it done in 82 days? That's a good question. Don says, my number is still on the car, will forever remain there. Well, when your number does get disheveled, don't worry. We'll give you another 62 for it. So. Buick Smith says, thanks for the live and the subs. Thanks for coming out. Buick Smith, don't forget, this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, whatever that equates to in your place, we do have a content creator workshop, and that would really help you to be there. I do not know if Tony's Hot Rod Garage is live or not. I think he's been inundated with work last I talked to him. And so while it's got him just stretched thin, keeping up with all the work this time, I said, hey, man, make it while you can. Rob says, I lost 6 subs last night. Oh, man. That's okay. YouTube's probably doing. I noticed I lost probably 3 or 4, and they've slowly come back. YouTube does that every now and then. They go through and make sure everything's legit. No biggie. Mohawk is feeling good. That's always a good thing. One-Eyed Cat says, I'm figuring a week or 2 turnaround. What are you having done? Hey, I'm thrilled for you. I'm happy. Rob was almost at 600. Well, that's all right. You'll get there. Indirect Connection says, every time I gain 10, I lose 1 or 2 for a week or so. That's pretty normal. You'll get there. No biggie. The main thing is remember, those are people. And you want, people to care about what we're all doing. So it's, not just numbers. But with that, does anybody have anything else? Because I'm going to wrap up for the week. Anything I'll plug here will be, don't forget Content Creator Workshop this Sunday. If you want to increase your subscribers and you want to make better content. Hey, Sean O'Brien comes in here in overtime. How's it going, man? If you want to help your YouTube content creation and reach a bigger audience and improve your videos and whatnot, the Content Creator Workshop is Sunday afternoon with special guest LP94 Lars. And he's a guy who can help you. And I can maybe help you a little bit too. But we're going to talk about the results of the No Name 500. And also next Friday, which I believe is the 5th of July, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't done math in my head. Whatever that works out to. Next Friday, we're going to be having the final results of how the 30 shorts in 30 days work. How many it got, each of the No Name 500 guys, how many I got off of it, how many Lars got off of it, and anybody else who's been playing. So we're going to get the winners of that. We're going to figure out who all I'm sending out banners to and whatever our grand prize winner is going to win. But anyway, with that, you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for coming out tonight, and we'll see you guys next week, if not this Sunday. Have a great weekend.